The gentleman is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for yielding. And I rise. I have no projects in this bill. I have no benefit in this bill. I represent some of the greatest agriculture in the United States of America. And guess what? We don't get a drop of that water from anywhere but the sky that it falls out of, and all of the wastewater that we recycle. The largest recycling project in the United States and the world, irrigating agriculture. You know what? You people that live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. You took a desert in the San Joaquin Valley, and using taxpayers' money, you built all these public systems, damming up those rivers, and I'm glad Mr. Nunes is going to support us in tearing down the Hetch Hetchy Dam, and dammed up those rivers to get all the water into the canals to take them into a desert. And what happened? It didn't rain. All of a sudden, you're caught in a drought. So what do you blame? You blame everything. You blame the Democrats. You blame the water. You blame the sky. It didn't fall out of the sky. But you blame every law that's out there. People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, because what are you doing about recycling all the wastewater that you're creating? You've always had that. Our communities bellied up to the bar. They put their money up. This bill says you got to put up 3/4 of the money before you even come and ask for help from Washington. Frankly, it ought to be the other way around. Recycling is so important, we ought to be doing it in every community in the United States, and the government ought to be at 2/3 help and the community at 1/3 help. This bill is a good bill, and don't think that because one part of one state didn't get enough rain last year that we ought to bury the whole thing trying to get recycled water. Guess what you do when you get that recycled water? You free up portable water that can go to other things. And frankly, no, you have time. When you have that portable water, you ought not to be using it for agriculture. You ought to be using that for drinking purposes. There are all the golf courses on the Monterey Peninsula irrigated by recycled water. Pebble Beach, Cypress, all these big famous golf courses. So I think that those people that are criticizing this bill and criticizing the fact that we didn't get enough rain in San Joaquin Valley ought to be asking for us to help them get recycling projects in their communities like we have in the Salinas Valley. We can solve this problem, but we've got to solve it in a multiplicity of ways. And one of the ways to do that is recycling. This bill makes a giant step forward for a lot of communities in Northern California. I would urge an aye vote.
The gentleman yields back the balance of his time. Members are reminded to direct their remarks to the chair. The gentleman from California reserves. The gentleman from Washington is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to yield a minute to the gentleman from California.
The gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to remind my Democrat colleagues on the other side of the aisle that there were 2 presidents that were instrumental in building the water projects that turned a desert into the most productive agricultural land in the world. One was named Franklin Roosevelt, and the other was named John F. Kennedy. Last time I checked, they were both Democrats. That was back when the Democrats cared about providing jobs to people instead of serving their radical environmental friends in the Bay Area. My, how we've gone a long ways in this Democratic Party. It's sad to see this. I yield back.